and welcome back to the BoardGame Sherpa, where you take the fear out of board gaming. Well, you guys asked for it. We did it. We brought him back. Johnny Rox, my original BoardGame Sherpa, is back again here for another video.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Today's video, top 10 two-player games of all time.
Well, before we get started, I kind of played a little loose with the rules of this. So my two-player games, there's two sides, and if they chose to split up those sides, because a lot of times you have a two-player game where you have like 4 players. When it was originally 2-player, you're splitting up the responsibilities of one side of the table. But mine, a lot of them are 2-player strictly, but some of them could be 4 players if you divvy up the responsibilities of each side of the table.
Get out. Seriously, I feel the same way. So 2-player games, officially, unless, and if we have, on each individual game, if it's a little different, we'll explain it at the time. That work for you?
Yeah.
Right.
I'll totally try to make my case. I'll do my best.
He'll do his best. Number 10.
Okay. You'll have no objections with this game.
All right.
I know you like it. Sky Team.
Sky Team.
Which falls under the criteria. It's 2-player only.
Right.
We talked about it a lot last time.
Yeah, Sky Team's a great game.
Yeah, I don't even own it. Like, I played your copy, and I had a good time. I probably said everything last time, but I had fun. I have like an interest in aviation. I respect the how you land a plane.
It was pretty high on my top 10 games of all time.
Yeah. And
Watch the video.
We went over the whole pilot thing that James has going on, like where he's into.
I was trying to learn how to fly.
Right, exactly.
Watch the last video if you really want to know more.
And when we finished that game, I wanted to try out the other airports. Like, I wanted to keep going, and it was like, you can't talk to each other, and everything's kind of hidden, and you're reacting to what the other player, what die they place down, right? So I liked that whole thing of it, and it was kind of like, it was totally doable. Nothing felt like out of your control. Like, I felt like we had control of that plane. It wasn't like we were guessing. It's like, no, we kind of, and once you play it a few times, it's like, you kind of know what you kind of have to do. You know where we got the engines, the flaps, and watch out for the planes in front of you, and you feel like you get better as you play it. So I felt like not like I was becoming a pilot. I'm not going to fly a plane after I play this game. You feel like it's like I got the handle of this. Let's try the harder airports because So
it's a great game, and I completely agree with it being on this list.
Yeah, awesome. I didn't think I would have trouble with this one. I'm starting off late. We're gonna ramp it up as I go, So that's my number 10. It's Sky Team.
All right, my number 10. It's one I didn't expect to have on this list, but I actually really realized I do like this game. I like this game a lot, and it's not officially 2-player. So we're starting off with a bang.
So,
right? It is full official name. I was going to Micro Macro Crime City.
Oh,
right. It's basically a big map. It's like Where's Waldo, but you're finding crime scenes.
Oh, I played that with you.
Yeah.
It was like 15 million people per square inch on this map.
Right? And now it's not officially a 2-player game. If you play with more than 2 people, you're going to be crowded. You're all centered around this huge piece of this huge paper map, trying to find out crime scenes, and you're going, find these guys. Now they're doing something, so you follow them along to find the next clue, and then eventually you'll find out where the money or the briefcase is. Right.
And there was different scenarios, right? Like different crimes.
Yeah, there's over 100 or so, it's crimes going on in the city, and you have to track it down. Right? I realize how much I love this game. I mean, yes, I have to break out the reader glasses because it's really small.
Oh yeah, that would probably be the only problem that I would tell others. It's like if you don't like looking at small stuff and detail, your eyes have to be kind of like on point.
Which is why I'm surprised I like this game because you really have to dig deep to find stuff.
Yeah,
and you get the glass.
But I can't believe how like you draw something like that. Like
yeah, that's amazing.
I mean, there's so much going on. I mean,
you can't have multiple artists on that. I can't imagine having more than one artist because like it's like okay, you're gonna work on here, but it's the same style across.
Yeah, was it more than one artist for the mat? Because if it was, they rocked it.
But it's a great game.
Yeah.
And again, 2 players. He says you can have more, but if you have more than 2 players, you'll be climb all over each other. So 2 players.
Yeah,
is best.
Yeah. It would be kind of like, elbows and So.
All right, so that's my number 10.
All right, cool. All right, let me see what we got here.
And again, we don't know what each other has. Number 9.
Okay, number 9 is a game that I didn't know was coming out. I saw it at Target. I didn't know what it was about, and I picked it up. I looked at it. It looked awesome. It's Apollo, NASA Moon Missions. It's that's all it's called by Buffalo Card Games. One side plays mission control, so you have 2 sides. You can have more players if more people divvy up the astronaut side. You're trying to do. It comes with 2 missions. So the first.
Are you breaking a rule right here?
This is the first of my stretching the rules.
Okay,
I would say.
It's funny that game. It's on my.
James bought it because I hyped it up, and then I said it's time. There's a 4-minute timer for you to scramble and fix stuff. The astronaut player to fix stuff on the ship. He's like, I don't like timers.
I never use timers, but
it makes it frantic, and you don't have to play with the timer. It just kind of makes things a little. It's kind of like Sky Team. Like I'll compare this game to Sky Team in a lot of ways because as you do it more, you get better, you get more confident. So then, like after a while, I bet even you would be like, let's do the timer.
Yeah, because you get used to it.
Right.
But I did not realize that was a 2-player.
You're more confident in your skills to like do what you need to do.
This is enlightening. I did not realize that game you could play 2-player. I thought you had a minimum 3 players. That's why that game is still on my shelf for shame.
Oh no, it's 2 to 5 players. I think you have 4 astronauts. I might be wrong.
Wow.
But mission control tracks the damage, so that the astronauts are trying to do all their stuff. And the cool thing is they actually they consulted NASA when they made this game. And one thing I kind of didn't know, I mean, I like space. I don't know everything about the space programs. They had them doing experiments. Like, not only did these guys have like the responsibility of flying this thing and keeping themselves alive as they're doing all this crazy stuff, NASA's like, what happens to broccoli after it's in 0 gravity for a week? So you had to do like
important things in life.
And I'm sure that wasn't the experiment, but there's like all kinds of weird things that you have to complete before you come back to Earth, or else it's a failed mission. So, NASA wants you to do all this stuff and do all these experiments on top of landing on the moon and, making sure the engines are still working and all this stuff. Like, I couldn't believe, it was surprising to me that, NASA's throwing more responsibility on these guys,
But they get one shot. They get one shot. Let's find out what happened to broccoli.
Yeah. Right, like, the moon's, like, cool, but broccoli...
Well, a lot of the things that go into those tests, those experiments in space are the only place you can conduct certain experiments.
That's true.
I mean, the broccoli's a goofy one.
That's true. And I remember I was, when I see stuff like this, like I kind of forget I'm into space. But then when I see games like this and I start reading, I'm like, that's right, I love space. And I go down these rabbit holes on YouTube. When I start watching like interviews with Neil Armstrong and like the documentaries about the Apollo missions and how they sent them up, and I'll tell you what, it just makes me have so much respect for those guys because like I love the band Kiss.
Really?
Yes. He knows. People that know me. If you said to me tomorrow I could have lunch with Gene Simmons or Neil Armstrong, I'd have to think about it. So, because...
What if you had it with Ace Frehley, the spaceman?
I would have to... Whoa. That's like, yeah. Whoa, that. I would still have to think about it. That was good. But this game, I don't know if I went over it. Mission Control keeps track of your damage, and the astronauts don't kind of know specifically what's going wrong with the ship. So they might forget that they have to work on something, and then Mission Control will pop up a little warning, and if you don't have communication tokens to talk to each other, they might have forgotten like what systems aren't working right now. So it's really fun, and I brought it out to Ohio when I was visiting my family, and we played it because I was like super into space. Like I saw this thing in Target, and I'm like, space, you know. So I brought the game out to Ohio, and we had fun, and we got through the training mission. Gemini landed, and you have to do things before you get to a certain stage. There's like different events in flight that you have to complete things, and then like these experiments, you know. And so they got to I was mission control, my brother-in-law and I think my nephew were playing the astronauts. They got to the moon, they landed on the moon, got the rover like all the way back to Earth, and something happened on re-entry and we lost the mission. I was like, oh my God, we made it all. But it was a great time. I never thought it's like $15. You could get it on Amazon now for like nothing. It's a cool game. There's cool like the production on it is really cool because they have like the little froze pack that the food comes in, right. And that's what they put each scenario in. So like all the cards that go in a scenario are in these 2 packs. It really surprised me. So that's my number 9.
And you wonder why I bought it after you talked about it. My number 9 is... Okay, this is yet another game that's stretching the rules.
I can't criticize.
This is a game Mrs. BoardGame Sherpa loves. Like, if you ask Miss BoardGame Sherpa what game does she want to play, she's going to say 5-Minute Mystery.
Oh, yeah, you hinted at that last time.
Which is funny when you just talk about the timer.
Yeah.
Because it's a timer-based game, but for the most part, we don't play with a timer. Actually, we do play with a timer because we kind of have to.
Yeah.
There's an app that has a timer.
Oh, then you're going to space, sir.
Okay, so 5-Minute Mystery. It's really cool. Very very similar to Micro Macro Crime City, in that you have a murder going on, and you have to solve puzzles. Which again, need your stupid reader glasses to read to see what the difference is between 2 cards. And if you get a card right, you get a clue. You get the clue, then you put it into this really cool thing called a codex. It's a really cool gadget. I'll throw a picture up somewhere, but it's a really cool gadget. And if you get that right, you get a clue, and then based on that clue, you find you have a list of suspects, and it's like this was not it was not. The murderer was not somebody with glasses. So you go through the cards, you get rid of all the people.
Guess who? I
guess it might be like that.
Like, did you ever play that? Where you flip down the people that it isn't, you know?
Yeah,
I think person have a mustache.
Yeah, exactly. There are 5-minute versions. There's also a 10-minute version. There's also so it's not okay. It's a little misleading.
Is it replayable? Because I know a lot of those crime games like
it's totally replayable.
Okay, so it's kind of like Clue, like it's different cards.
I mean, there's probably about 100 or so cards.
Okay.
And the detail on those cards, you'll never be able to memorize the difference.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you never. Wow. Like I could look at the same card twice in the same game, I would notice it.
Oh, cool.
But it's awesome. So 5-Minute Mystery, Mrs. BoardGame Sherpa loves it. It's a 2-player game. It's awesome. It's another one that probably says you can play more than 2. But if you play more than 2, you're all trying to like peep into this onto these cards. It's like it's not helpful if you have more than 2 people. That was my number 9. Number 8.
I'm kind of doing a space double shot here with this number 8.
Number 8.
It's funny because I bought it at the same time that I picked up Apollo because I got so into space. You know, this one Christmas I was, it doesn't take much. All somebody has to do is send up a rocket. I'm like, space, and I get back into it. But this is One Small Step by Academy Games.
I don't know what that is.
No? It didn't really get a lot of fanfare. It's
but you never talked about it, so
I didn't. Other games kind of take up the conversation, I guess, when I visit. But this one is 2 sides. One person plays Russia, and one person plays America, and
America.
And you're trying to be the first to get to the moon. So like, what if Russia got to the moon first? You know, like
okay, there's a movie. There's a TV show. It's like I think it's called One Step Beyond or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, might be based on the same thing.
And you're basically you start from the beginning of the space program where you're like you're doing the elementary, like the first stage rocket experiments. Like you're trying to you start from scratch. It's like, we put a satellite up, and then now we're gonna move up and do a rocket and see if it orbits. Now we'll put a guy in it, and you can. It's really wild too because Russia can recruit Neil Armstrong and like Alan Shepard and stuff.
Oh.
Like they're just like free agents, so you could like change history, like depending on the stuff you do. And I played with my brother-in-law out in Ohio, and he actually got to the moon first. I was America, he was Russia, and he beat us. I lost.
So American you are.
Oh my God, I failed you guys. So but it was fun. There's a lot to it. There's at first it could be a little intimidating. There's a lot of rules, and everything's like those games where like everything has its own symbol. And sometimes you got to look up the symbol because it'll be on the cards like, this one I could put the guy here, but I can only put this guy, So you can get bogged down in that at first, but after you kind of like get rolling, it's a lot of fun, and it surprised me. So it was.
I gotta look at that one.
Yeah, and I got the upgraded chips for it, because instead of using the tokens, because you got if you like a game, you gotta
go all in.
Yeah, you gotta dress it up. So, so that's what was
number 8.
Number 8. That's
okay. This is definitely 2 players only. This is a game. I'm really surprised. A couple of years ago, I would not expect me to have liked this game. Number 8, Onitama. Right now, Onitama is
okay.
Now, the description of Onitama is if you like chess, but it's there's too many things to keep track of and too long. Play Onitama. And it's true. You got a small board. You got two pawns and a master on each side, and you got to basically take over the other person's master. But the card system is really cool. You get 5 cards throughout the game. You get 5 cards. Two cards here, 2 cards here, and one that you flip. So you play a card, you got to put it to the center, and the next player gets that card, and it goes back and forth. So you only have a certain amount of moves in any given turn.
Okay.
So, and it's really cool. It's like the end game of chess. Like it's like, okay, if you take all the pawns out, you give your king and maybe two king and 2 queens maybe because they can move any which way.
Okay.
And then that's like the final part of chess, and that's the part I like because I like chess, but I suck at it.
Yeah.
And it's just too much.
Yeah.
It's too much to think about, and people get really into chess, and you can't find someone to play chess that just enjoys it for the game. You have to. It's like, I've used the Johnny Rox alternative move, right?
Well, that's made up because I'm horrible at chess. The Johnny Rox move is lose.
Yeah, but I was never. Yeah. I'll play chess. It's kind of like I'll play checkers. I'm like, okay, it's a game. It's like 2 people equal. Yeah. Everyone plays it now. Is a master wannabe. I just want to have fun with the game.
Yeah, that's how I feel about a lot of games that are like card games that are collectible, where like they have these tournaments. I get kicked out in the first round, and by like
then what bother?
Yeah, you have to be okay with that. I guess.
I'm not.
But
so anyway, Onitama is it takes the best parts of chess and just makes it simple. And it makes it fun.
Awesome.
I'm sure there's people who want to be Onitama masters, but there's more people who just want to have fun playing a game, and it's a simple game. It's simple to learn, but you can get pretty strategic. Hard to master. Even better. He's my promo guy. So Onitama, my number 8.
Awesome.
Number 7.
This game takes place in a galaxy far, far away.
Oh no!
A long time ago. This is a 2-player game, so I'm not. Later on, I'll bend some more rules, but not right now. This is Star Wars Armada.
Armada?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not where I thought you were going with that.
Oh yeah, we played X-Wing. Like I was X-Wing came out first, and I was into that. We played it up at your house, and fun game. But then I'm trying to think. A couple years later, Armada came out, and it was like Star Destroyers, and the ships that you played in X-Wing, they shrunk down to like a real small size. So it was like I don't know what class type starship, like big ships fighting, and then the little ships, like the X-Wing game was just like these swarms of fighters. So like it became more focused on the big ships,
Right. Okay.
So, and one player can play the Empire, one plays the Rebels. I think there's I'm trying to think what the Scum and Villainy faction, but I think you attach it to one side or the other. I think you attach to the Rebels or the Imperials, and they you have to plan your moves like ahead of time because these ships are so big.
Right.
It's like right turn, and then like 5 years later the thing turns so you have to. There's like a real cool element to it where you have to kind of plan your moves because these things take forever to like maneuver.
Right.
And it really adds a cool strategic element to the game. And they had just before, I'm not sure, they don't really make too much for it anymore. I know Fantasy Flight kind of doesn't handle it anymore, and they turned it over, I think, to Atomic Games.
Okay.
But they came out with 2 campaign expansions. Okay. That you could fight for like territory, and like you keep track of how well you're doing in the battle. And I kind of I took the map and I put it behind trying to think what I did. I bought like one of those picture frames at Michael's, and then I took magnets and I stuck them where like you would put the counters so you can hang it on a wall, and then like take the little the Empire took this planet, and then you put the magnet there. So I have it ready to go for like a grand campaign.
Okay. This is a big table filler, right?
Yeah, like you take 2 X-Wing boards and you have to put them together. And then it takes place, because, you're dealing with, like, a grander scale of combat, so you need more room.
Space, too?
Yes. And I went and got, they have, they blow up the Death Star in the first movie, then everything
Spoilers?
Oh, sorry. If you guys... I'm spoiling Star Wars like crazy right now, so, just to give you a warning. But if you they blow up the Death Star, and then all the Imperial stuff happens in the Executor, that huge Star Destroyer. They have that, and I bought it. And it's like, no kidding, it's about the size of this table. And, you put it in the middle of the table. I haven't played with it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. But it's like, this model is ridiculous. Like, I don't know if I showed it to you.
No.
They come fully painted. It's amazing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I got my interest.
Oh, yeah, fully painted. Everything's just like X-Wing, really.
Okay.
And this thing it has 2 stands to keep it up, and everybody's swarming around this thing, and like everything's kind of like centered upon the Executor.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Looking to get that to the table, and I probably want to use it in the campaign.
Oh,
but no. And I kind of moved on from X-Wing. I kind of sold my X-Wing stuff.
I'm not a big X-Wing fan. X-Wing had that problem where if you get to the corner, you have that chest thing. It's like in the corner of chest. It's like go back and forth the whole rest of the game.
Yeah,
like,
we had a funny moment that one time. Remember where somebody had R2-D2 in the back.
Yeah, R2.
And we just kept going back and forth. And James was like, "You know what? This is enough." He's like, "I'm putting you right next to each other. Somebody dies in the next 5 minutes."
Yeah, because it would never end if it didn't do that.
I know it was so funny. You got so fed up with it because it was just like this game of cat and mouse, and you're like, "That's enough."
And that was the last time I played it because of that.
Right. So maybe Armada is really not like that. You can't, because of the nature of the way the ships move.
Right.
You just can't do that stuff.
Right.
So that's what was that? Number 7.
My number 7. It's actually a fun game. It's a game I've gone down the rabbit hole on. I could play that game for hours.
Did you buy expansions for it?
No. Actually,
wow. Okay.
Patchwork is different. It's not expansions. You buy different skins.
Is that the game?
Yeah. Number 7, Patchwork.
Okay.
I forgot it. Okay. Anyway,
right.
Patchwork there's no expansions in Patchwork. There's multiple versions of it. So it's like you can Patchwork Holiday, Patchwork this. Anyway, the idea is to build these And it's not a game I thought I would ever love. It's like
you're making a quilt or something.
Making a quilt.
Wow.
I never thought. Again, people don't. Who knew people watching birds would be so big like Wingspan? But anyway, Patrick, you're building this patch, and it's like you're putting similar pieces together to to score points and to fill up the whole grid, and it's zen. It's like you're sitting there going, this is really fun, and it's like it's a 2-player game. So it's easy to play, but it's also on Board Game Arena.
Yeah.
And it's one of those games. It's like, oh, this is like you just get so into it. It's like I enjoy this.
Wow.
So it's
very cool.
It's a very fun game.
Would it make you actually want to like?
No, not at all.
Let's not get crazy.
Wingspan wouldn't want me to go out and actually watch birds either.
Right. Okay.
Unless it's penguins.
We were watching birds yesterday.
Yeah, but that's the end of the world.
Because they were loud.
They were loud. There were like a million. Yesterday there were a million I don't think they called grackles that just flying through the air. Like anyway, it was end of world days.
Yeah, it wasn't watching birds. It was like, what's going on out there?
See if the end of the world is coming. but Patrick is Is it Patrick? Oh yeah, it's an official 2-player game.
Oh yeah,
by Uwe Rosenberg.
Yeah,
and
yep,
that was my number 7.
Awesome.
Number 6.
I know you like this game. No, you definitely like this game. And I got a story. All right. It is First and Goal from R&R Games, the football game.
I forgot that was 2-player.
Yes. Oh, okay. The first time we saw that game was, what's the name of that con in Jersey?
It was
DexCon or
Dreamation.
Oh, Dreamation.
Which is the video I did on the worst con ever years later because they didn't come back from COVID very well. But First and Goal.
We had a blast playing that, and the guy that was running it was awesome. He was like, bomb, first and 10.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he made it so much fun, and that was a fun day though to begin with because we met Stephen Bonacore that day,
right.
and he was awesome to us. He's the podfather of gaming now.
Right.
Yeah, and shout out to him. He just did a video. It's the first in the series, he said, of the Podfather Loves.
Right.
And he said the Podfather Loves Dune, War for Arrakis, and that was the little push that I needed to actually buy that. And I bought it. I bought the whole Kickstarter. I went to like a site where you could get a Kickstarter you missed, and I got all the expansions, all the special stretch goals.
Sounds like we're doing a video solely on Dune at one point.
And that's a
Stay tuned.
That would fall into my criteria of like a 2-player game,
Dune's
so that might make the.
Oh,
I haven't played it yet, so I couldn't put it on the list. But it looks awesome.
Okay, but we're not in it now.
No, but it's got potential. I mean, I brought the rule books with me. He's here, and
he brought the rule book so he could read them in bed.
Oh, and I saw the first Dune, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. They chopped it up a lot. We were talking about this, and then there's this guy floating around. He's kind of gross.
No, we're not talking about Dune. Let's save that for a Dune video.
No, okay. First and Goal.
First and Goal.
I got all the expansions, which are just dice, so you could play as like
First and Goal expansions.
Yeah, First and Goal.
Actually, those aren't expansions. Those are extra teams. Like, I wouldn't
Did
consider.
You get them?
No, because I couldn't. They were really expensive.
But you can't get them now. I think they might be out of print.
That's why I found out about it.
And it makes all the teams different. Like certain teams are like good offensively, and then makes certain teams good for defense. And you got to kind of know. It's not NFL teams. They kind of made up the teams.
The first and Goal is just 2 teams.
Right.
But then he got the pack of like different teams, so you could have different strengths and weaknesses. And he made a tournament out of it.
Oh yeah, there's just like we were talking about Luchador. I want to do a First and Goal tournament, so that's up there in tournament ready games,
right.
if you will. So I don't know what it plays really cool. Like you have a deck of cards, and you put down cards at the same time, and then it's like a play. You have to kind of guess what your opponent's going to do. Are they going to run it? Are they going to pass it? And then you play your defense accordingly. And it kind of falls into like, I'm going to do the nickel formation in defense, or I'm going to put everybody back because they're definitely going to throw a long pass because that's what they have to do. It's like it follows the football rules. So I
actually have a video out on First and Goal. It's how to play multiplayer games solo. because you basically you shuffle the cards. And you play
so you're playing like both sides of the. You're like,
yeah,
that's impressive.
You play, and there's a whole video on it on my channel. And I break it out every Super Bowl.
Awesome. Yeah, we played it just recently, I think, and it's always fun. And there's like I guess there's like a magnet in the board, and it, like the first down marker, the chains, you move them as you go, and it really plays like real football. And then the quarters or the halves are over when you run out of cards, I think. Right. So it's like the timer's built into the gameplay, so you don't have to like stop a clock and all that stuff. Really cool game, and it was a surprise. We're just like, we'll sit down and play this. What's that?
Put it out.
It's R&R Games.
R&R Games.
Yeah.
It's a very smart game. Had I realized that was a 2-player game, and I should have known. Yeah. But again, I'm thinking
I'm surprised that
But it's. Yeah, that would have been so much. That would have been so much. That would have been high on my list.
I had to think about it too because I'm like, it's 2-player, you know. Yeah. And it's really it's 2-player.
Right, but I have in my head it's solitaire.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
It's a great game. That's either way, but yeah.
Yeah. First and goal.
But Mrs. BoardGame Sherpa doesn't like playing first and goal with me, so I have to find other ways. But it's a great game, and it would have been on my list. It should be on my list.
Yeah, he would have had it. You would have bumped something for it, I'm sure.
My number 6 is Beer and Bread.
Oh.
And I watched the dice there, and they played it, and I liked it, and I was like, and I just happened to walk in the store, it was there, and I was like, let me try this, see how this is. It's actually really fun. Basically, you're in this town. I think it's also in multiple videos. You're in a small village with a beer and a bread factory, and two of them, and you're sharing the same water and resources. Yeah. And you've got to make beer and bread, and it has a weird thing. You're not going to win if you have the most beer. Oh, yeah. You're not going to win if you have the most bread. Oh, you have to have the most beer and bread combined to win. Okay. And it's a really
cool.
So
you're both making beer and bread.
Yeah, it's two villages in a monastery. I think I think it's a monastery. But they have land. They have the river going through it, so everyone's using the same water, same things, and you trade resources back and forth. Yeah. And it's a clever game. It's rather fun. It's very themed. It's you have your bread factory, a bakery, and you have your beer place. Yeah, and it's just it's fun. It's very interactive. Yeah, cool. You have your dry seasons. You have your fruitful seasons. Yeah, you have just different rules for different seasons. Over 4 seasons, whoever makes the most both beer and bread, because like you can't just I'm gonna sort of focus on beer. Yeah, you have to have a balance. Okay, I love games that have balance because they kind of force you to think a certain way. Right. But so beer and bread, that's my number 6.
Cool. I have to play that one. I haven't played
it. It's really quick before you leave today, man.
Okay, cool.
Number 5.
My number 5 is based on a sequel, actually, and this game was. This is the game that got me into gaming. I think this is what changed my life and set me.
This is historic here.
Yes, this was. Well, let me just because I'm gonna start going. So let me just say the name of the game. This is Aliens by Leading Edge Games. This is out of print.
How old is this?
This came out I think close after when the movie came out. So I think it was
wow.
It might have been early 90s actually when it first came out, and then they did an expansion, and but basically it's kind of you can play more than 2 players. So I'm kind of bending the rules with one. But the first time I played it, we did 2 players, and my brother-in-law, who was I guess my Sherpa. My brother-in-law Mike
is the Grand Sherpa.
Yes, he's responsible for all of this. He brought that because I was always like as a little kid. I'm just like, oh, what are you doing? And he was the first person that painted miniatures and I'd see games set up. I'm like, what's that all about? He'd run me through some turns. So he brought this game out when he visited us and put it on the table, and he ran the Aliens, which they kind of run themselves. It's kind of like the zombies and zombie side, where they just kind of going to do something. But he ran it, so I didn't have to worry about it. Right. And I controlled the team of Space Marines, and you're like trying to get through this reactor, and the aliens are coming out of nowhere and trying to get you, and you got to fight them off. And it was amazing. It was so much fun, and it just kind of. It made me realize what a board game could do. Like I had so much fun because before I was just playing Monopoly and sorry and
Right.
And I was just kind of like, eh. But this game, it just set me on this different course. And then and that was before the internet. So like when they were coming out with an expansion, you kind of had to find out through a magazine, and then I'm trying to think. They did an expansion, and I remember I forget how old I was. I had my cash in my hand because we were going out to Ohio. My brother-in-law told me it's at this place, and I was like, really? So I had the money for the expansion in my pocket. We drove out, and I went to the place, and I bought the expansion. And then they were going to do a third expansion, I remember, and they canceled it. Like, I don't know what happened, but I found out somehow for like Starlog magazine. And I wrote the company. I was like, I wrote a letter, and I was like, why did you guys cancel this? And they wrote me back. And, you could do this with an email now, but back then, like, I had to wait 3 months. And they're like, we're very sorry. It was all typed out, that we can't do the game for, the last game didn't sell, enough.
They're honest about it.
Yeah, they were pretty cool about it, and they said we're sorry, but I think they might have gave me something like something.
It sounds like they would have. They wrote back.
Yeah, but it was great, and it was scary. It was like when we were talking about Zombie Side, and we were talking about how it felt when those zombies come out. When these things start coming out, and then maybe you start losing Marines, and you're like, oh no, Pone just went down. He's and after that, I actually played it solitaire like 1,000,000 times.
Okay.
I would come up with different tactics. Like, you always have to split up the squad. There was a big stairway.
Isn't that the whole rule? You don't split the squad up.
Well, there's a stairway, and you have to split it into 2 teams and go around the stairway. That was the strategy I found out.
Okay.
I always went back to that. Like I played it 1,000,000 times. I was doing it. It was so good. Yeah. That was my number 5.
And
it's out of print, unfortunately.
And a historical look at Johnny Rox.
Yeah.
And by extension, by the BoardGame Sherpa.
That was the game. So I had to include it. And the first time I played it was 2 players. So
all right, I will allow that.
All
one.
right, thank you.
Number 5 is an old game, but it's new to me. Friend of mine taught it to me, RJ, a couple of years ago, and I was like, "Oh, this is a really great game." And I played it, and it's like, and I couldn't find it. Number 5, J-Poor.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's relatively new. I just got it a couple weeks ago, but I've been playing it a lot, like over the years, and it's like this is it's a trading game. And I'm sure many of you know this if you're watching this, but it's a card trading game where you are looking to be the biggest trader in whatever in the country.
Trader or trader? Okay.
DER.
Okay, that would be cool. A cool game. Be the biggest trader.
If everyone knows you're a trader, you can't be a trader.
Well, you hate those games, hidden trader.
It wouldn't be a hidden trader.
You want to be out in the open.
That's okay. Espionage is not my thing. Okay, so in J-Board, you were trying to be the biggest trader. So you're trying to trade your diamond and gold and silver for God. I know brown, green, and orange at this point. I don't know what they are. But it's fun. It's like you train with back and forth with the people, and you're trying to get the higher cards, the silver, gold, and diamonds. You're trying to get those before anyone else, and it has camels where if you take one camel, you have to take all the camels. But those camels, they're worthless, but they're great for trading. You can only have 7 cards in your hand in a normal game, and you can have as many camels as you want. And there's even who has the most camels at the end gets an extra 5 points bonus. Okay. But it's like you can if you want. I was like, all the browns are out. I can get them, and I have 5 camels. I can get you just get them all. So then you trade. The more sets you have, the bigger bonus points you get.
Oh, okay.
So if you're in a game of 7, you have 7 You have 7 browns. You're golden. I mean, It's hard to get the other colors, but brown's easy to get. But yeah,
are the colors of the camels. Or are you talking about the colors of
the colors of the resources? And it's like
okay,
it's brown. I call it mountains, but you can't. There's like brown. There's a green.
Okay.
There's
and there's like symbols like related to those colors, or is it just
there's some resources allocated, but to me, like, other than the top ones, the red's diamonds, the blue silver, the yellow's gold, and then there's like
silver horseshoes,
purple. Yeah, I got my Lucky Charms. But yeah, so
awesome.
But yeah. it's just fun to try and it's great when you win because you get 2 rounds out of 3. There's also different.
It's fast. It plays fast.
I can knock out. Basically, it's 2 rounds to win. So it's 2 out of 3. So if you get 2, you win, and it's fast. You can knock it out in like a game in 10-15 minutes.
Oh, cool!
And it's
awesome.
it's fun. It's like I bought the app for this.
Oh,
and
you like
apps just teach you the exact.
Yeah,
and
they're great for that.
But they have something that's not in the game. They have a campaign, which you'd love.
Oh,
it's like instead of just being in J-Port, you now entire the big country, so you have to go to different towns and the different levels. It's like it's gotten me so much better because you can win this game without getting into these super hard levels. Oh, and I'm getting better at them, so I'm actually passing them. It's like okay, but
what's the name of this app?
J-Port.
No, okay, cool. I'm gonna check it out.
But yeah, so there's a whole campaign involved where and you get trophies and it's kind of nice.
Great.
The game itself it's like 14 years old, so they didn't have this back then. But in the upgrade app they modified it.
Okay, cool.
So J-Port, that's my number 5. Number 4.
I don't think you've ever played this game. It is grand in scale.
Oh.
It also takes place in a galaxy far, far away.
Okay.
Yes. You can make it 4-player by splitting up the responsibilities of each side, but it's 2 sides. It's the Rebels and the Empire. This is Star Wars Rebellion.
Rebellion?
By Fantasy Flight Games. Yes.
Okay.
So you're basically it's the whole galaxy. So you have one board. You have 2 boards, and you put them together. Like it's probably the size of this table.
Oh, okay. It's not okay. What's the biggest Star Wars table game?
Oh,
Imperial Assault?
Well, no. Imperial Assault takes place on smaller boards. I mean, probably Armada or am I not?
We were at Gen Con. We were looking at we were watching a tournament. And the table it was like this table times like 3.
Was it like an official tournament, or were people just playing?
It was a bunch of tables. They were either demoing or tournamenting it.
Oh,
because it was like
miniatures.
Yeah, it had the ATSC on it. The AT, not the AT.
It might have been people playing like an older game that came out a while ago. I think that's out of print. Like the Star Wars games, a lot of them people keep them alive. Like the Decipher card game, which I loved in college. People are still printing cards for it. They're like still developing it on their own.
And shout out to my buddy Tank at Scum and Destiny for keeping Scum and Star Wars Destiny alive. So go check him out. He's keeping that game alive.
Yeah, this one doesn't need to be kept alive actually because it's still in print, but it's an older game now. But the Dice Tower I think said it's Star Wars in a box, and so is Imperial Assault to me. It's Star Wars in a box, but this game, the cool part of it is like as the Empire. Your whole goal in the game is just to find the rebel base.
Oh.
So, and you hide the rebel base at the beginning of the game, and the Empire doesn't know where it is, but you know where it is, and they know how much stuff is on the rebel base because there's a square off the board.
So this is all Hoth?
No, well, Hoth is in it, but it's not...
Okay, so not just finding...
Are you kind of like what the movie...
Like Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah, it's...
but it's like that, but it's in multiple planets.
Yes, okay. It's like the whole galaxy. You can put the rebel base wherever you want, really.
Gotcha. Okay.
But the Empire is trying to find the base the whole game, and like I was the Empire when I played my brother-in-law, and he was like he was they're looking for where the rebel base is, and I was like right here, and he was like hunting around me, and I was getting like he's getting close, And then the cool thing is you have leaders from the Star Wars universe, and you're sending them around to do different missions to get benefits, because I think the Rebels have to play by getting so many points of like doing shenanigans around the galaxy. So you're sending Luke to Dagobah. You're like you're sending Han here and Obi-Wan's going there and doing these cool like
real
missions.
Star Wars.
Yeah, and all the time the Empire's searching for you and you're having space battles and stuff. And the Empire like really outclasses you the whole time. So you're just doing like strike and retreat.
You're the underdog. It's the basis of Star Wars.
Yes, and it feels like it. Like they did such a great job. Like I'm trying to think of other stuff that happened. There's so many iconic moments you have in a game of Star Wars Rebellion. Like it's so cool. It's not just a battle game. There's all this other stuff going on, espionage and and then like I said before, when you have that rebel base and then the Empire's getting close, you can if as long as you can defend yourself and you can like move it, you can relocate. And I had to do that once. Like I survived the initial attack because you load up that rebel base, and so when that attack comes, if they find that you at least can defend, you got a defense. But I had to clear out, like kind of like what happened in Empire. Yeah. Like they hit off, and then it's like we're out of here, and then I found another place to go, and I think I won that game. It was like so close, but so fun.
If you're playing as rebels, you win by not getting destroyed.
Yes, you have to stay alive for so long, and then by doing like espionage and stuff, like doing little things. There's little milestones that give you certain amount of points, and then if you get like that amount of points, you'll win.
Okay, but you're not destroying a Death Star or something.
The Death Star does come out.
Oh,
yeah, the Empire can build the Death Star. Then they have the one that's like under construction. It was like all goofy and Jedi, and then they have the one that's the full globe, like it's fully operational, and then they send that around, and then that can blow up a planet. Like, it's so great. It takes a little while to build that too. Like you can't, the Empire, has to put the work in to make the Death Star a reality. But when they get it, you want to be close to like accomplishing your goals as the rebel because this thing's coming, and it's just gonna tons of fun.
You're a passionate man, Johnny Rox.
Star Wars Rebellion. Yeah, that was my number 4. It's up there.
Well, my number 4. You knew it was making this list. It's very high on my top 10 list of all time. Luchador. Officially not a 2-player game. But you really can't, unless you're playing tag team, which is kind of lame. But unless you're playing tag team,
tag team's fun.
Tag team's fun, but
and you got a tag too.
With one person. Like you're playing like 4 people. It's not done. It's not. You can't play 2 or 4.
Yeah.
And it's more two players fun as tag team. 2 players fun as well. But Luchador is a great game. I've talked about it ad hoc in the last video.
Yeah.
But it's dice chucking, wrestling.
Yeah.
With your friends and you're yelling at each other. You're
yelling like the whole time.
If you've been watching this channel at any point, I've probably mentioned Luchador a lot. It really is one of my real top favorite games. No spoilers.
I played that on vacation, and we just...
You got me hooked on that game. Gen Con 2014. You brought
that like quoting from Nacho Libre the whole time. You're just like, elbow to the face.
And it just got worse.
Oh, it was great. It was so much fun.
And Back to Backspindle, which we really want you to sponsor us, sponsor our tournament at Gen Con. So Backspindle, Mark Rivera, you know who to reach out to. But anyway, there may actually be one.
Great. Yeah,
but Luchador, my absolute number 4.
We get kicked out of the gaming hall. I mean, like just
that's right.
A ruckus. I don't think you have to be quiet. I mean, it's not a library.
As long as they put us next to the quiet room in Gen Con.
Right. That would not be a good mix.
It's like you're in the quiet room and all of a sudden Kool-Aid Man comes flying through. Anyway, Luchador, number 4.
Oh, nice.
Number 3.
My number 3 is a 2-player game.
Okay.
It takes place in World War II. I discovered it just a couple years ago. I played with I've played it mainly with my brother-in-law, the original Yoda.
Grandpa Sherpa.
Yes. It is Undaunted Normandy by Osprey Games. Okay. It is a deck-building, tactical like combat game, which was kind of like the first time they mixed those two things together, where you're like building a deck of cards, and then each card is like has a name on it. It's like an individual soldier. So you play these down to move your guys on the board, and like you're trying to do certain objectives, and like you have to scout zones of the board before you can move into them with a scout. You know, like, and then you have to move like I think it's your riflemen. They're the only ones that can actually like take territory. So you scout first, and it's awesome. The tokens have binoculars on one side if you scouted it, and then they have the control on the other side. So when you scout it, you can now move your riflemen into it, and then you get the riflemen there. Then you can flip that token, and now you control it, and that's like the basis of a lot of ways to win the scenarios. Right. And it's like it's World War II combat. So they started out Normandy. Like I kind of wrote Normandy down, but I kind of include all of it because oh man, Stalingrad is a campaign expansion, which is it follows the same thing, but my brother-in-law is coming out, and I already told him we're playing Stalingrad. I haven't played it yet.
You don't leave the house. You don't leave the house when you go to Ohio, do you?
No, and I get in trouble for it because we could just game the whole time, and you know, my rest of my family, my sister's like, "Are you gonna visit, or are you just gonna sit at this table?" And because we easily could, and we've done it so many times. Is these marathon sessions of like, we're playing this, and then we're playing this, and then we're playing this, and it's like, guys, dinner, you know. We'll be there. We're like, oh yeah, I guess we have to eat, you know, because we just get in the zone. My family has to comment. Like, if you guys see this, you know, back me up. You know what we. I feel bad. Like I do want to visit, and I do make the time to visit, but like we get involved, man. Like
from the time you got here yesterday, we pretty much been playing games.
Well, you're kind of there. I mean, I didn't have to twist your arm.
I am the Sherpa.
Yeah.
I was like,
I didn't. You know, it's easy to get into those things. It was just like, oh yeah, we gotta eat. You know, man, we gotta stop.
I was like, yeah, that was the norm. I was like, shit, we gotta eat.
Yeah.
I was like, how are we gonna?
He's the planner. You actually made it. You were like, we strategized. We figured out the time frame, and you know, you did well with that.
Yeah, we played. We had a Shadows of Brimstone session last night. And it's one of his favorite. It's very high on his list.
He had a good time.
Wink, wink. Right.
You had a good time.
We're like, okay, well, we got to get stuff. So it's like, okay, we'll get that stuff, then we'll eat, then we'll come back, we'll right back into gaming.
And we went to our campsite, we played the game, and James wanted to go to camp again. You wanted to play again. And I was the one that was like, well, it's kind of late.
I never.
So I'm not used to being that guy.
And no Facebook ever had to go home.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good stopping point, but you were jonesing to...
I love that game.
It was
like I said, great. If I played that game more often, like if you live close, and I played that game more often, that would be in my top 10 favorites.
Oh man, you're gonna make me start talking about Shadows of Brimstone.
We're not talking about Shadows of
Brimstone. What were we talking about? Undaunted, Stalingrad, because that's the campaign. That it's the Russians as they push the Germans out of Stalingrad in World War II. It was a pivotal battle, and you could change the course of the war by the way this campaign goes. Like certain buildings will get destroyed and they'll stay destroyed like for the rest of the campaign. So then you move to different parts, and if you do really bad, the campaign I think can end early for you. So I can't wait to play it. So that was, and then after that they came out with Battle of Britain, which I don't have yet, but
he will.
It's on the list. Yeah. Okay. So right now I'm all about Stalingrad. So I got to sleeve those cards. We're gonna get that ready to go. So yeah, that's number 3.
Number 3, Nanga Parbat.
Oh,
it's right there.
Yeah.
It's right in front of
Oh, that was fun.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, the reason I like Nanga Parbat, if you can guess why I bought this game, it's a Sherpa game, right? And I got it purely for being the Sherpa thing. I was like, it's gonna be all right. You know, maybe I'll get into it.
Yeah, it was really cool.
But we start playing it, and it's like, you know, you have to you have like different quadrants of the mountain that you have to go, and you have to collect pieces and match them together, and then you can get points and move your guy. And It's really fun.
Yeah,
it's a quick
I
game.
wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did, and there was a cool strategy to it, you know.
Yeah, and it's just it's a very smart game.
Yeah,
it's a very quick game. It's quick to learn, and it's just fun. I mean, you make pieces. You set up campsites. It has little wooden pieces. Now, Steve Finn, who wrote that game, made that game, and it's out of Dr. Finn's games. And Steve Finn, when I bought the game, it was missing a couple pieces, and I was like, "Ah, crap!" You know, I was on a 3D printer, but I was like, "Let me email Dr. Finn to see what they can do," and they were like, "Oh, we're really sorry." Within 3 days, I had the replacement pieces in my hand.
Oh, that's great.
You gotta love customer service. That definitely
that's big for you.
I'll be honest. That might be the one that blocked out the other number 3. This is great customer service.
Yeah.
Because now it's all about customer service for me.
Right. Yeah.
It's like if the company is good to you.
Yep.
Which is why Flying Frog, Thunderworks,
yes,
and Dr. Finn are in my lists. They're just great.
I totally support that way of thinking.
But it's a game about it's a game about Sherpas, right?
You're just basically like walking around a mountain, right? And there's buffalo and or
buffalo
yaks. Is it because it's like it's Nepal, right?
I hate to tell you, it goes back to the yellow brown.
Yeah.
You got little Sherpa guy.
Yeah. It was really kind of deep. Like, when I started playing it, I didn't really I was still kind of learning it, and then when by turn 3, I'm just like, there's a lot of planning you got to do here to really get points. Yeah, I like it.
So I got it for the Sherpa, and I stayed for the game.
Yep.
So that's my number 3. Number 2.
Number 2 is easy. Luchador. Woo! I mean, what else can we say about it at this point? I mean, I've had just fun board gaming sessions. It was just you never have to say to somebody, "Can we play Luchador?" They're like, "Let's go!"
Yeah, you sure? We'll go right downstairs.
Yes,
we got a lot of games to play downstairs, don't we?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's a good problem to have, but. Luchador is everybody I've played it with loves it and gets into it. Like, not just like, it's okay. They start kind of, if they're not yellers, they're kind of like, everybody, gets into it and has a good time with it. And it's just fun. It's just fun.
I will say, if Luchador wasn't so high in my top 10 games of all time, it would be my number 1 2-player game. But I didn't want to...
My number 1 is going to be the one that you have to forgive me for. But it is technically 2-player.
Okay.
But I don't know. Maybe I won't have to defend
Let's not hit too much about number 1 yet.
Right. No. Number two.
So, but Luchador would have been my number 1. But it's that good of a game.
Yeah, and then, because this... there's Lucha Wars, and then they came out with that upgraded Luchador with the ring with the ropes.
Yeah, Luchador. Well, I have the one with the ring.
Okay, yeah.
That Lucha Wars is the new. It came out maybe 2 years ago.
Right. I don't have that one.
I will always go to Luchador first.
Yeah. I just have the one, like I said, just that square. Trying to rolling dice on a little board, and it's all you need.
Yeah. And you can play for hours.
Yes.
Again, back spindle. If you're watching, we want that tournament.
I actually I downloaded the cards from I forget what site. I think it was somebody did it on BoardGame Geek. That was like all the WWE wrestlers.
Yeah, but it never topped I Dolores.
Yeah, I mean the original cast is classic at this point. So.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to play with WWF characters.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It would change. It would change the game a little.
Yeah. It's like
I get it.
Maybe Rey Mysterio and Mil Mascaras and those guys, but
you got to keep the flavor of the.
You can't have John Cena or Hulk Hogan in that game.
Yeah, it changes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's my number 2.
My number 2 is a game I almost forgot about. I played it so much I forgot how much I love this game. Bandito. Bandito. It's the biggest little game.
Number 2.
Number 2. Again, this is a great 2-player game. Bandito. It's a little box. You put it in your shirt pocket. That game, I could spend hours on. I mean,
wow.
It's a cheap little game from Amazon. because it may not even be $10.
Yeah.
Right? And this table is too small to play it.
Really?
Yeah, because the map goes out. So basically you're a bandito, and you're in jail, and you're digging out tunnels to get out.
Cool.
Right? And you and your opponent. I guess it's cooperative.
Oh yeah.
I guess it would be.
Oh, you're both trying to get.
Yeah, we're trying to lock up.
Okay.
We're trying. He's digging holes, and we're trying to block him up.
Yeah.
But it's all random cards that add to his tunnel. So it's like, okay, you either have a choice of a tunnel that can open up to 2 other ways, or you can have an end cap, so you can close that tunnel. So if you block off all the tunnels and you can't get out, and by the time you get through all the cards, it's you win if you block him. Yeah. If he gets out, it's
cool.
Yeah,
I haven't played that.
You've never played this?
No. I think you described it to me so many times, but
yeah, this is this.
It just seems like real easy to get into, and
yeah, this is number 2 because of the number of times I've played it.
Awesome.
I've probably played
to
it
the table. That counts because if I like a game and I don't get it to the table in a while, it gets on the to go list.
Yeah, Yeah, I think I've played this more than I've played Cartographer.
Wow.
By Thunderworks.
Right.
But yes, that's my number 2 because just the amount of time.
All right, cool. All right.
And number 1.
Number 1, 2-player game.
All right. I'm worried about this
I
one.
might get... Well, it is a tabletop game, all right? I really think... I think I'm good there.
You're scaring me.
All right, this... I'm not going to... It's Stiga, Stiga, table hockey. It's a 2-player table hockey game. I think it's made in Sweden.
Okay.
The legend of this game. I would have, when I visit my family in Ohio, we would have table hockey tournaments, and they were off the rails. Like,
this is real table hockey with those little spinny things.
Yeah, and the way that the board is great because they regular table hockey, it's just kind of straight up and down. Well, the left winger in this game goes behind the net. Like, there's a mechanism.
No.
Yeah, it bends on a spring, and it keeps the gears so you can twist them, so you can set up plays behind the net.
You can come around the ring and hook it in?
You could go, I think almost, you can't go all the way around the net. You could go, to the back side of, the other side of the net.
Right.
And have the puck back there and kind of pass to a guy that's in the crease, and, set up these plays. We had such fun with this. It was so intense. Everybody's going to think I'm nuts by the time I'm done describing this because we just I took it to another level. My family were the victims, but they seemed to enjoy it. I would bring this out to Ohio. Everybody would pick their teams before I got in the car. And I painted the players. They had numbers and they had the guys' names and everything. And it was okay, so my niece and nephew, they'd say, we want to be the Devils, or I'm going to be Minnesota, and all that. They get their teams, and then we get out to Ohio. It was like a ladder tournament. We talk about yelling, going back to Luchador.
That's your Luchador.
Oh man, that was before Luchador, and they have to back me up. If they watch this, because I'm gonna forget stuff. I'm gonna try my best. We had intense moments playing this where it was like watching real hockey, and there was this one game I have to. my niece and nephew were playing. I forget how old they were at the time. They were. I don't know if they're 8 years old. They have their own families now. They were small at the time, and the periods were 5 minutes each, and it got to the last period, and it was tied 1-1, and we went to overtime. We kept playing 5-minute periods, and they kept getting close, and nobody was scoring. Now everybody's around the table hockey table.
This is Stiga, or is this a table? This is
Stiga.
Okay, so this is okay.
Yeah, this is. It's about this big.
So it's not the one they sell for Hasbro or whatever it's called.
No, this is made well. The hockey players have metal sticks.
Okay. Whenever you talked about that, I always thought it was the American version. It's with the little, because I had that and it
No, they actually. I actually took part in a couple tournaments in Jersey where they play strictly Stiga because it's like made so good. And there's guys like they were doing stuff with table hockey I didn't know you could do. Like they were popping the thing in the air, and I was just like that. That was one of those things where I was out the first round. I'm like, I'm way outclassed here. Like I thought I was good or whatever. But with my family, I wouldn't even take part in these tournaments. Like I wouldn't even. I even have to play because I loved running it and watching them. Going back to that game, my brother-in-law. Okay, this is the table. I think it was on the floor because they're kind of kneeling on it. We just would play it wherever. They're going back and forth. They're not scoring. My brother-in-law is sitting in a rocking chair, and my God bless him, my niece and nephew are wiping the sweat off their faces because it got so intense. I feel horrible because I feel like I orchestrated this torture.
They're traumatized.
Oh.
But
they do. I think they speak fondly of it. I could be wrong. I don't. But,
they go to the therapist. It all went bad that day we played Stiga.
It got a little cutthroat, I have to say, but okay, we're going back and forth. Nobody scored. Then finally, one of them scores. My brother-in-law goes back. He goes, "Oh my God!" He flipped over out of his like a chair, and the window was right there. We're like, "Oh my God!" It was incredible, and we're all jumping up and down. It was fantastic. I've never such great moments, and if I went out at Christmas, it was the Nutcracker trophy. So I bought this big Nutcracker at Walmart, and I put a black eye and a missing tooth on it. So that was what my nephew had that trophy. Then we had a Stanley Cup, which was like a different visit. So the Christmas visit was always the Nutcracker Cup, and then any other visit was we're playing for that Stanley Cup, And you could switch out the players every game. So and then just so you didn't feel I was thinking about everybody, so you didn't feel like you were left out, I went to Radio Shack and I got these switches with the lights behind the goal, and we wired them up. So when one of my niece and nephews got knocked out of the game, I was like, well, you can be the goal judge now. And they would boo. We put a little siren in, boo, 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 and it would light up the thing. So everybody was involved, we trade that off, and they had full control. If it was a goal, they were the ones that had the final say. But sometimes the nets were kind of bouncy, so the puck would bounce out, and everybody's like, well, I don't know if it actually went in. So then I hooked up a camera to the laptop, and we had instant replay. I set it like a Rector set. I put it over the rink, so I had the full view, and then we'd slow down the tape, and we're all around the laptop. We're just oh, it went in. We're frame by frame. We watched the puck. I mean, I guess I know I'm nuts. I mean, but it was great.
But that is why those kids love board games. Why I love board games. Why the passion behind that. I mean, the way you explain that, it's just amazing. It's like I wanted to be there. I still want to do it. They're adults now, but they want to
back me up, guys. I mean, it was intense, but I think we all had a good time.
That's just a board game. That's an experience.
Yes,
remember that for the rest of their life.
Right. And me too. It was just and then and the cool thing was when I did the instant replay, I'm recording the whole game, but I had the sound on, and you hear all the stuff we're yelling, and I remember watching it back, and I was just laughing. But you forget the stuff you're saying as all this stuff is going on.
We put it on YouTube. But there's probably a lot of cursing in there.
No, it was clean.
Really?
Because they were all little kids. We were just laughing. You're just making fun of what was happening on the board, And then we have certain things. There was one guy, I think his last name was Jilson, and my nephew will remember. I don't remember what the move was, but he did something one time, and then anytime somebody did that, we're like, oh, he pulls a Jilson, that would be the thing. He did a Jilson,
okay.
And it just I can keep going, and it's just so many fun moments, and it was intense, but I think everybody kind of enjoyed it. Don't know. I mean, the table hockey tournaments. They know. I mean,
And that's again that's what I think board games should be about. Having
Yes.
fun, about having those moments,
yes.
about memories you don't have the rest of your life. Like the first time you brought Zombicide to me, it was like
Yes.
it was like oh it was like it scared the hell
yeah,
out of
and
me.
you still remember that. You,
Yeah,
you
that
mentioned it
was
last
over 10
time.
years ago.
Yes. Yeah, and that's a board game to me. I mean, it's table hockey. I guess it's not pieces and rolling dice. But
Actually, I'm allowing this because
okay.
I was looking through some top 10 board lists. I was trying to see if there's any games I missed. I wish for first to go. Right, Clask. That it's like Crossfire. I've never played it, but it's a bit.
You're shooting Are you kind of shooting marbles or like little
Something like that.
Okay.
I know it was on the Dice Tower a lot.
Yeah.
It's an official board game.
Right.
So
yeah.
I am allowing this as a official
All right.
board game.
Thank you.
Because it's an official board game.
I could not mention it as a 2-player game. I mean, it just
Yeah.
it's
It's what board game fun is all about.
yes.
And you know,
Totally. Yeah. Number one.
Number one.
Stiga.
All right, my number one, not as exciting. And again, Luchador should have probably been in this spot, but I couldn't do it multiple times.
No, that's
But I love but that's what board gaming and fun is. Okay, my number one for now, and again, is no slouch. Don't get me wrong. Number one, Sky Team.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's really high up. on my favorite.
Wow, I'm surprised it's number one.
It's
It's piloting. You know.
it's piloting.
Yeah.
I've been playing this.
Yeah.
I'm playing a lot.
Yeah.
It's 2-player, obviously.
Yes.
I guess two-player cooperative versus competitive are two different things. I mean, they are, but it's like
right. Not a lot of 2-player games are cooperative.
Yeah.
You know, that's
But
it's unique in that way, I guess.
But
you know,
I mean, from the second I looked into this, I looked into it for the top 10 games of Gen Con, and it's like, then I was like, "Dad, this is a really cool game." It's like, and it's the components are amazing, the thought behind it is amazing. The gameplay is like the fact that you don't know what each other's doing,
right?
But and you have to land a plane.
That's such a cool aspect.
And you really feel like that plane's coming in.
I know, yeah.
And it's got a whole bunch of.
You're managing so many things at once, and it's like, what do we need to do right now? You know, that has to take precedence. Like right now, it's flaps. Well, we're coming up on planes, but we just can't do it right now.
Yeah, you only have radio. You have 4 dice to do everything you need to do, and 2 of those dice have to be for engines.
Oh, that's
and
right.
balance.
There's only 4 dice.
Yeah, so you only have 2 optional things you can do.
Right. Some of the things, once you complete them, they're complete.
Yeah, you don't have to do it again.
Give them
but no,
attention
engines and balance you have to do every round.
Oh, okay. So you got to just kind of keep
access. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
right.
Yeah, and what was it going? But it's everything's great about the game, and the like Scorpion Mask, the publisher, and the Hatchet Board Games.
Scorpion Mask.
The Scorpion Mask and Hatchet Board Games have some sort of. It's a French company.
Okay.
And I guess Hatchet is a U.S. Distributor.
Okay.
But they come out with different. They come out with different airports that you can download.
That. Yeah.
It's like you have all the pieces. You just have. Well, you want O'Hare Airport in Chicago? There you go. You want Jane Kennedy? There you go. And so you just download them, and then there's people making separate things. So it's like
I love when companies do
different levels, and they're not even charging for them.
That's great. Simon does that too. Like you download free stuff,
Yeah.
Zombicide, and I actually downloaded cards for that Doom game.
Of course you did.
It's coming to a 2-player list, I think. It's coming.
It will maybe have its own game in its own.
Yeah.
Johnny Rox explains how to play Doom the right way.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of great videos out there now.
What company does put out Doom?
Simon.
Simon, if you're watching this, you want him showing people how to do it. Otherwise, people will be playing this for the rest of their lives. We're like, they'll have memories for the rest of their lives after they play that game. So, Simon, you watching? Grab him.
I would be glad to do it if they feel that that's needed.
Yeah.
So.
Actually, any company. Thunderworks, Flying Frog, you throw him in there, you're going to the top, baby. Straight to the top.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Anyway, so my number one, Sky Team. Great game.
Great, yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
We done?
I think we've gone through everything.
All right, so thank you again for watching the BoardGame Sherpa top 10 2-player games.
With some stretching of the rules.
Wiggle room. But it's my channel, my rules, so we're allowed.
Okay. As long as I'm good with you, we're
hope you enjoyed it. Again, keep posting that you want Johnny Rox in. He'll keep coming back. You know, he keeps coming back.
Or
I get
speak
more
up if you don't want me here. You know?
He comes around. I get to play more Shadows of Brimstone.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
And so keep putting those comments in there.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Keep playing board games, and we'll see you next time. Take care.